Hey guys, Tim here with Geekedupgaming Review Group. I'm going to show you guys a pre-Kickstarter game called Tavern Brawl. And basically, the way that I was seeing it as it's a basic overview would be that it's got your cleric, your warrior, you know, all your classes, and you are taking a break from adventures and quests and stuff and just hanging out at the tavern. And this big fight just breaks out of nowhere, and it's 5-on-5. So, and it is a 2-player game. So let's go ahead and ship on over the components and show you. Now do keep in mind they are prototype. None of these pieces are finalized. I was very impressed with the prototype. I like all the artwork that was put into this. And I actually like the tiles. It's just cardboard with basic stickers on there. But let's go ahead and show you and see what I'm talking about. Alright, so here's the components. I have them in a big plastic bag. That's the easiest thing for me to carry it in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this all out of here. And keep in mind that these are prototype. The hearts are actually kind of made of like a spongy material, and they're kind of remind me of the sweetheart candies. So we got the hearts. Those are your counters for the damage that you take. We have all of the heroes. Let me get everything spread out here. Here's the tables. They're going to be set up on the in the arena or in the tavern. And then depending on which 5 characters you pick, you're going to have a person to represent them on the board, and then you're going to have their player card next to you. And then here are the tiles, and these may be, as far as this side, this may be the final print for that, but it's just basic cardboard for the prototype. But as far as the prototype goes, I really liked it. I really like the cards. Now obviously, if I'm liking the prototype, the final copy is going to be amazing. But we've got the paladin, the monk, bard, rogue, druid, wizard, ranger, cleric, sorceress, warrior, bard. I think I got through all of them. Okay, cleric. So there's going to be 20 together. There's 2 of each of these cards, and then each person, which there's only 2 people, are going to pick what 5 characters they want to play. So that's just a quick look at this. Like here you have your warrior. Let me move these tables. You have your warrior here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. And your warrior's card right there. So you're going to have your health points at 8, your movement is 3, the fist, which is melee, is 4, or you can do the 1 range attack down at the bottom, and it says any attack made by an enemy unit while in range must be made against this unit. So that's because he has taunt. So that's the warrior. And then we will do the monk. And the monk, he has 6 health, 5 movement, and 2 melee, or he can do the range, and it says if any ally units attack this turn while in range, their attacks do +1 wound. So the wounds would be the hearts. So let's say Mr. Warrior's in the range of my, which would be adjacent because it's only 1, of my monk, he would have +1 on his melee. So that's the monk and the warrior. Now the wizard. This was a kind of a don't want to say overpowered, but at first we thought, okay, this is an OP kind of guy. But the reason being is because his movement is 4, and when the tiles are only 5 in length, but you know, you have 2 of them together, and you have your guys all the way over there, or the enemies all the way across, and then you have your guys way over here. The reason we thought that he was going to be like an overpowered is because he has 4 movement, and then he has 2 range, which does 2 damage, but who he hits has to be in line of sight. So that's what brings down, that's what nerfs his overpowering. But that's the wizard. And then we have, I'm trying not to look, cleric. Yes, because the other one is a paladin. So here is the cleric. And the cleric is 5 health, 4 movement, 1 melee. It is a healing prayer is its special ability, and it is a range of 2. This unit or an ally unit may remove all wounds tokens. I would say wound tokens. Anyways, it's a beta card anyway. This turn. So that's kind of the cleric. I do think in this game, if you keep your guys huddled around your healer, you're going to last a lot longer. Because I kept lone wolfing all my characters, and wasn't working out for me. So now we have a ranger. He is 6 health, 5 movement, and 2 melee. Or he can use his precise shot, and he is 4 range and does 2 damage. What's cool about him is that units do not block line of sight for this attack. So he can shoot past his own unit and hit someone behind him. So that's really a cool thing about him. And then we'll do the paladin. And he has 7 health. He has 3 movement. He has 3 melee. Or you can use his Divine Blessing, which is 1 range, which is all ally units in range may heal up to 2 wounds. So that means anybody adjacent to him. So if you have your paladin in the center and you have everybody else around him, and he heals everybody too. So that's what I'm talking about when you huddle around the healers. They are going to do their AoE, and it's going to pop off. Which, that's what I like about this game, is they got a lot of AoE, which is area of effect. Some World of Warcraft lingo there. I'm trying to just pull the characters out that I haven't done yet. Let's do the bard. He's not very strong. He is only playing with his ukulele, which earlier we were playing, I called it a guitar, and everybody started laughing at me. And I was like, I know, I meant ukulele, or whatever he's playing. Guitar was close enough. He has 5 health, he has 4 movement, he has 1 melee, or you can use his heroic song, which is range of 1, and it says target ally unit may perform 1 additional action if activated this turn. May repeat an action, which that's kind of nice to put that in parentheses to clarify it. Billy was saying, oh, it'd be nice if it was area of effect. Yeah, I bet it would be if you gave all of your guys an additional attack, or yeah, an additional. So now we have the sorceress. I think it's kind of nice because there's only 10 characters, and I've only played it once, and I then watched them play it 3 times. So just getting it off my table to do this review was like pulling teeth so that they would stop playing it. So as soon as I get done with this, they're probably going to want to play it some more, so it's going to be a long night. So the sorceress is 5 health, 5 movement, and 1 melee. Has a range of 3 in line of sight, which is the little eyeball, and does 2 damage as its special ability. Target enemy unit can't perform a move action next turn. So you can lock somebody down. The druid, which I'm getting ready to show you, was really bad at that. We used the thorn snare, and it was really annoying because I kept getting locked down to one spot, couldn't move. So that's the sorceress. Okay, so the druid. The druid has 6 health, 5 movement, 2 melee, and is thorn snare, what I was talking about, has 2 range, which is in line of sight, and does 1 damage. And also, all enemy units in range take wounds and can't perform a move action next turn. So it basically locks them down, and I kept getting hit by it almost every turn, and then I eventually had to bring out some other guys to get rid of them. Alright, so that is the Druid. And then, who we got left? We have the Rogue. And I kind of like how he's all kind of shaded over, like he's like a shadow running around, because you know how rogues are. You know, they sap you, and as soon as you get sapped, you already know you're going to die. This one does not do a sap. This one does a slash and dash, but I will explain. I will go through that here in a second. 6 health, 5 movement, 2 melee. And then the special ability is slash and dash. Now he can do it 1 ranged and does 2 damage, and then this unit may move up to 2 squares after, I couldn't read that upside down, after attacking. This does not count as a move action. So if you're already there and then you like poke somebody, you can move away for 2 spaces and then do your regular movement. Now if you've already moved and then you attack with it, then you only get to 2 afterwards. So that's the Rogue. So we've done the Wizard, the Paladin, the Monk, Bard, Warrior, Ranger, Sorceress, Druid, and the Cleric. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so that is all 10 characters. So the 10 characters that I just went through will be the same 10 characters that your opponent gets to pick from, and then you basically will pick what 5 you want, and then your opponent will pick what 5 you want, and then you'll put them on the board, and I'm going to show you that right now. The one thing that I wanted to show you real quick that didn't show you were these stands, and they're just standard stands that hold the paper guys up. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how to set the game up, and I will show you how to play. Okay, so this is how the game's going to start. Your opponent's going to have their 5 characters, and then you are going to have your 5 characters, and you can put them wherever you want on this first row, because you need to be closest to you and furthest away from your opponent. So I'm just going to make it easy and just set these guys up like this and do the same thing with the opponent's side. So the first person is going to only activate 3 characters and do whatever they want with them. The second player is going to go with 4 characters. And then after that turn, then it alternates back and forth with only 3 characters. So let's say that my opponent wants to move his wizard. So he will move his wizard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, his attack is 2 range in the line of sight and does 2 damage. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Because you can also move diagonally in this game, which is awesome. Now, when we first played it, Billy was like, "Oh, I can move diagonally." So we were trying to catch on to the diagonal part. I personally didn't have to catch on because I love when I get to move diagonally. Reason being is because when you're trying to run away from something, I want to make the game feel as natural as possible. If I can't run diagonally, then I don't feel like I'm actually in control if I can only run up and down or left or right. But that's just how I feel about moving diagonally. I feel like that it should be available not only on hexagonal or hexagons? Yeah, hexagons. Almost like octagon. I always get those 2 confused. But yeah, the hexagon, I think that you should be able to move diagonally on the squared ones. So this is a rarity to be able to move diagonally, and for the area of effect to also go diagonally. So when you're casting a spell, it doesn't look like Bomberman. It actually looks like you are casting a spell. It just, you know, you can visualize it just, you know, all the way around the wizard. But the bad thing about the wizard is it says all units in range take wounds. And we were a little confused, so I contacted, and it says it in the rule book, which I didn't catch, that everyone takes a wound, even the allies and everything. So let's say, without breathing so hard, He moves his wizard there, but he doesn't attack because he's not in range. So he goes ahead and moves his paladin. So 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm doing it this way just to kind of simulate how the characters work and how their attacks work. I would not put my wizard out there first like that. I'm not sure who I would put out there first. Maybe my ranger, because he's got range and everything. But we'll show you guys strategy builds and stuff in the future if you want to watch those. Anyways, so that would be 2 of his characters moved. And then we'll just say, since his ranger's got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he has a range of 4 on his precise shot. And my sorceress is in line of sight. So what would happen is he would take his 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 to my sorceress. I would take 2 damage because it has a little heart on there with a 2 next to it, as I showed you guys earlier. And that would give me 2 hearts out of the pile on the sorceress. So I should have probably said this in the beginning. The tables will go in the middle of each tile, as you can see. And then all your characters can be put on the main line. And then the hearts, just put them wherever they're reachable by both players. Okay, so now I would take my turn. And what I would do, since my sorceress got hit with 2, is I would take my cleric and move 1, 2, 3, and we'll go ahead and move him closer. Or her. It's got long blonde hair and I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl because nobody has any faces. They all look like Grim Reapers. But anyways, I kind of like that they don't have faces. They're all mysterious in their own little way. They're like meeples with armor and stuff on. Anyways, getting sidetracked. The cleric, I would cast the healing prayer, and that does 2 heal to my sorceress. So I'm sorry, ranger, but you wasted your attack. And then I would take the sorceress and move 1. That would put me in range of the ranger. And it's in line of sight, so I would do 2 damage to the ranger. So that 2 damage is actually going to go right back to the ranger. So now he's down to 4 health. And then I would go ahead and probably move my druid, let's say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to do my thorn snare to the wizard, which does 1 damage to the wizard. And with that 1 damage, it was a 2 range line of sight. So I could have stopped next to the table and then went on with it. But what I did was he is now thorn snared, so he cannot attack on the next turn. Now you can turn the card sideways or upside down, however you want to do it to signify that, or flip it over to signify that and then flip it back over at the end of the turn, however. Or you can just put the heart on top of your attack just to remember. But he is now unable to move. He can still do his magic and everything, but he just can't move. Okay, so that's 1, 2 moves, 3 moves. So let's go ahead and move my monk, which he can move 5. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will do 2 melee to the wizard. Now, I'm doing all this damage to the wizard because he is pretty potent, and if you take him out early, that's probably a good thing. So I've had him stay out there for 2 turns, and he wiped my guys out. So getting him out early, that's why I would say don't put your wizard out there, because this is what's going to happen. He's already at 3 damage. So that's my 4 moves, my 4 deals there, and now it will go back to my opponent and they can move their 3 characters. But the thing is if you attack but you don't move first, then you don't move. As far as I think that's how I read that. I will put a comment below to verify that. and get that verified, but I think that's how I read it. Okay, so, and the wizard, he can't move anyway. So he's going to cast his Fire Blast, which is 2 range to everyone line of sight, so that'd be my monk and my druid. And they're both going to take 2 damage. So 2 and 2. And then they're going to have their ranger go ahead and say they fire at my monk. That's 2 more. That puts my monk down to 4. And then he has his paladin come over here and 1, 2, 3. The paladin is not in range, so it cannot. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Anyway, he would have moved. He'd be right there. So I was going to try to heal the wizard, but that's not going to happen. So that would be his 3. He did the archer, or the ranger, not archer, the ranger, wizard, and the paladin. So now I'm going to hit the wizard with my monk, because that's just the easiest thing to do, and that is going to do enough damage to knock out the wizard. So the wizard would die off, and you would take his hearts, put them back in the pile, or leave them on the card, however you want, and then take the wizard's card and character, set it off to the side. You don't have to do that, but that's what we did to keep it to where we know what's going on. So now I will take my druid and I will go ahead and hit this paladin, and I'll just hit him for 2 damage instead of hitting him with the thorn snare. And so I can just do 2 damage. The thorn snare is kind of nice because I could move away and then do a 2 of range on him, but I have to be in line of sight, and it only does 1 damage. So I'll just do the 2 damage because the paladin has armor and is at 7 health. Okay, so monk, druid. So now we'll do the rogue. This is really cool. So we're going to go 1, 2, and I'm moving in between the table and my druid. 3, and now I've taken my 3 movements. I have a total of 5, up to 5, but now I'm going to attack with slash and dash, which has a 1 range. So I am adjacent. I'm going to do 2 damage to the paladin, and I showed you guys this card earlier. Now I get to move 2 squares. So I'm going to move 2 squares back, and it can be diagonally, left, right, up, and down. So I came up here, poked him, and then ran away. So this is a basic gameplay. We will make videos in the future of a full gameplay. We will do it with a prototype, and then once we get the final copy, we will do some more videos, and I will go ahead and wrap this up and get it cleaned up, and I will tell you my thoughts about the game. Alright guys, so my final thoughts on Tavern Brawl is that this is a simple, easy to learn game. I read through the rules one time. I did not have to go back and really read anything over again. There were some questions that we had about some cards. Actually only one card, it was the wizard, and it was if the wizard got attacked, or did the wizard do damage to itself as it did damage to everyone? No, it does not. It is the caster, so he's casting it all around him, but he's not hitting himself. I didn't show you guys the rule book, but the rule book I have is just a PDF file, and it has the 1 image on it. This will have a bunch of images and what do you want to call those? Tutorial models on the thing, pictures of how to play it and everything, and how to set it up and do whatever. This is a game I would recommend everyone backing. It's a really cool design and setup, and I can't get over the fact that you can move diagonally in this, and that the area of effects actually do area of effects. They're not like they only go sideways or up and down like Bomberman. If you guys have ever played Bomberman, you know what I'm talking about. Also the other thing is that I noticed that you kind of have to run it like a dungeon, like you would in World of Warcraft, where you have to have that healer heal your guys, and it's like a PvP. It's really cool, and I'm really glad that I can cross-reference this game to World of Warcraft because I miss playing WoW because I can't afford it right now. But this is definitely a game I'm going to want to play repetitively, so I'm hoping that this prototype will hold up because this will definitely be coming back to my tabletop. The cards, the quality of the cards, even in this prototype, if that's what they came out with no back, it wouldn't bother me at all. I love the way that the cards feel. You know, you're not stacking them on a deck or anything. You got them out in front of you. All they do is display your character's attributes. You know, it's pretty simple. If they stuck with the foam hearts, that's fine too. I don't have to have punch board stuff. I don't have to have all that fancy stuff. But, you know, it'd be kind of cool. I think it would be really cool, and this is just my opinion for a stretch goal, is if the tables were actually wooden. I think that would be like really cool if they took up just enough space, just like they do. But that's just a thought. I think it's a really good game. You know, my buddy Brendan, when I played it, because I like to just storm in there and just try to, you know, go for it. But I didn't have the right characters to do that. But basically what we did was we took only one set of 10 characters and played the 5-on-5 so that we had every character and could see how every character worked. And then the 3 games that they played like the highest area of effect, the most movement, and tried to get like the alpha build, if that's what you want to call it. And then they also did the alpha build versus all the low build guys. So you had all your ranged guys against the melees, and then the ones where they maxed out both, it was range against range. So it was basically who was going to be first into no man's land and who was going to stay in the trenches. You can kind of think of it that way because if you put your wizard out there, as you saw, it's going to die out quickly. So you do have to keep it that dungeon aspect. It is a tavern, and you're in a bar and you're fighting and everything, but you have to think of it as kind of a dungeon delver, where you have your front guys as your tanks, and then you have your healers that are healing the tank, which has the taunt, like the warrior or somebody else that has a high melee. Warrior's the only one I can think of at the moment. But you know, you have your tank, and then your casters, and then your healers. Your healers are going to be the first back, you know, coming in, healing, and then jumping out. If I would have played it that way the first time, I probably would have lasted longer because if I'd have kept everybody in a pack, moving around the board, picking one guy off at a time. Your numbers do definitely count against the other ones, but if it's bulk against bulk, you're going to kind of run into probably a longer game. The game where they played the range against range, it was about an hour and 30 minutes. This is about how long they went. But the way that I liked watching those two play, Brendan and Billy, because they took the time to say, okay, if I do this guy, move him, do this attack, and then do this guy and this attack, and then come in and heal, and then they like strategize this whole thing. So it can be a long game where you can strategize and play it, and you know, kind of do different builds and everything. Which, you know, we got 4 games in, and I was like, hey guys, I need to go do this review. Will you guys give me the game so I can go get this done? And finally, I got it off the tabletop, and now I am done. We are finishing right now, so I'm surprised they haven't run in here and tried to take it from me, and you know, knock my camera off the table and everything. But this is a really good game, and I've probably said that like 5 times now. So it's a good game. I would say back it. The prototype is pretty cool. I'm glad that I have a prototype, so now I can keep playing it. And you guys will have to remind me if you want to play this, and you're going to be at the Gen Con here in Indy, where I live. So hello from the motherland. Just send me a tweet or whatever. I'm always active on Twitter, at Geekedupgaming1. So if you guys want to play this, hopefully I don't have a whole bunch of people that want to play it, but if I do, I will try my best in between other stuff that I have to do. Okay, so that's Tavern Brawl. I would say yes, back it. And I definitely approve this game. It is very cool. And the creator of the game, very prompt on getting back to me. He actually gave me his personal number. I don't know if I'd have done that. Just kidding. Anyways, and I only had one question about the game. There's 3 pages to this rule book, and that's all it needed. That's a big plus to me. Short rule book. I can get right to the game. I can put it on the table, set it up, play it. It's awesome. So, with that said, and I'm gonna say it again. Back this game. You'll be glad that you did. At first, you'll probably you'll have to play it a couple times to learn what all the characters do, obviously. And then once you get into where you can strategy build and do all that stuff, it's going to be really cool to see what everybody comes up with. And hopefully, maybe, I'm going to give you an idea here, maybe come out with a tournament for this. Because I could see a lot of guys strategically playing with it. There was another thing in the rulebook that I thought was pretty cool. I think I don't remember where I saw it. Anyways, but I think that there's also possibilities of making the game like where you could play it different. Like you could do 3 and 3 if you wanted to, and then just adjust the rules. Like the first person to go only moves 2, and then the other guy, he gets to move all 3 of his, or you know, whatever you want to do. Or you could do like a 1v1, you know, healer versus healer or something. I don't think that'll work very well, but I mean, you could try it. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to try. And I'll probably do like a non-warrior match, like the Bard. They're not really brawlers that I know of. They just play their instruments. Although the Bard in this game, with not having a face and it's all black, he looks pretty intimidating. I don't know if I'd be, you know, getting up in his grill. You know, if he even has one. Maybe he's a ghost or whatever. But I thought it was kind of cool that they look kind of like meeples. They don't have a face. They just have these 2 white eyes, and they're just, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah. All right. So that's pretty much everything. That is all I have to say about it. I could go on and on, but I will not. I will end the video now, and I will see you guys on the next review, whenever that is. Alright, so I am Tim with Geekedupgaming Review Group, and this is Tavern Brawl.